Hello, good evening. This time from another part of US. I'm in Oakland, California, and yeah, I've been traveling around a lot lately. I did this 12 days of Christmas from New York, Los Angeles, and right now Oakland, California, which is in the Bay Area. So we have special guests tonight, and I actually told them I'll be a little bit late, but somehow I made it on time. And yes, I'm starting to see people joining. Hello everyone, hope you're doing all good. Let's see, who do we have here? So we're almost there at the Christmas time. We're still celebrating with our Christmas edition 2022. Edition 2022 to the world, with different influencers from all around the world, from Australia to Belgium to UK. And tonight we are having our US evening, so we will be having Sarah from Whisky Nomad, and then I will also have Mr. Michael D'Souza, who is Master Distiller for Paul John Indian Single Malt Whiskey. So this is a great time if you have any questions about the liquid itself. And yeah, I'll be waiting for them for a second. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them here as long as I can, as much as I can, of course. And I am at a beautiful location right now in Oakland, California, which is called the Legionnaire Saloon. This place behind me is going to be a whiskey library in a couple months, maybe in a couple weeks, actually. It's not that long. They have been working on this for a long time. And oh, Michael is here. I will invite him again. Yep. Perfect. Graham Voyager, nice to see you, brother. Let's wait for Michael to come here. Let's try this again. Well, I'm sorry about that. When you travel, these kind of things happen. And Michael should be with us shortly. And of course, we are waiting for Whisky Nomad too.
Is it lighting?
Hmm?
The lighting is okay.
Yeah. Hello, Igor. Nice to see you, man. Okay, Sarah is here.
Good. How are you doing?
Hey, how you doing? Good. We were just having some technical difficulties on the Wi-Fi, but we're back.
Doing great.
How are you
I'm
doing?
recovering
All
from a
good?
slight cold, but I know it seems like everybody got it
has
all
it.
at the same time.
It's been like 2 weeks for me, and I'm still having a
Sorry.
cough. Hello,
Hi.
Michael.
Sorry.
Nice to see you back. It's all good. It's good. So, Michael, Sarah, Michael. I know you
Nope,
both.
not
I'm
yet.
pretty sure you don't know each other yet. Yeah. So, just to introduce you guys, what we are doing here. So, this is the 12 Days of Christmas, which is a project that I started 3 years ago. As a home project during COVID, just to enjoy Christmas time with one guest each night. And this year we wanted to do that 12 days because, everybody's out on the streets now, going to their families. So it's not that COVID times anymore. And we decided to do this internationally, Sarah. So it was all the US before. This year we are doing it in Australia, Belgium, UK, US, and a lot of cities with different influences. And thanks for joining us, being one of them. And Michael D'Souza, our master distiller from Paul John Whisky, is joining us tonight as my guest. And it's going to be interesting because in 12 hours, we're going to do 2 broadcasts with Michael. And tomorrow, 7 a.m., we're going to do another one for UK. So that's going to be fun. So I would love to introduce you to each other. And Sarah is one of our wonderful influences here in the US, Michael, in San Diego area, under Whisky Nomad. And she was on the finals as one of the best whiskey accounts on Instagram. And yep, she has been doing amazing stuff. And hope everything is going good for you guys. I'd love to have you. If there's anything you want to say it now, or I will
No. The network was bad because we are in the process of expansion. So the old distillery is demolished. No, it doesn't exist anymore. So we are reconstructing and adding 4 more pot stills. So yeah, it's a mess.
So whatever I am telling to people, that's a lie now. All right. So I have to come back
Yeah,
again
of
this
course. Yeah.
summer,
Mhm.
hopefully.
Can I
So
come?
from 1.5 to
All right.
we are going for 3 million liters annually. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
Congratulations.
incredible.
It's a big.
Keeping.
Yeah, Sarah,
Yeah,
yes,
why
you can
not?
come
Why
with me
not?
if you want.
I'd
Yeah.
love to come. That'd be great.
We love to
Yeah, of
have
course.
people over in India. So, meanwhile, that being said, I'm in Oakland, California. This is Legionnaire Saloon, and upstairs is
Oh,
going to
really?
be
Mm-hmm.
Oakland Whiskey Library. And this is just a preview from that. So, if you ever make it to California, Michael, I will take you here. And Sarah, if you ever make it north,
All right, I will.
come pay a
I
visit.
go north a lot, so I should definitely hit you up.
Please, let me know. So tonight and we all know what's going to happen. We are going to introduce you our new whiskey, Sarah, which Michael and I have been drinking for a while now, which is a Christmas edition 2022. Since I'm traveling, I'm keeping the
Yeah.
minis with me all the time, and yeah, we've been trying to. And every time I'm talking about a whiskey, Michael, but this time it's on you, man. You're going to introduce the whiskey
Oh,
yourself,
come on.
which you made.
Let's hear it.
So, okay. It's a 7-year-old whiskey. The tradition started, I'm talking about the Christmas edition. The tradition started in 2018. So, as you know, we don't have age statement. We produce 2 different kinds of liquid. One is the peated, the other one is non-peated. Out of 2 different kinds of liquids, we produce different expressions because we don't have age statement. So, uh, apart from Christmas edition, the rest of the expressions, either it's a mono, like either it is from a ex-bourbon cask or from different finishes. When it comes to Christmas edition, it will have, or it has at least 3 to 4 different finishes in a single expression. So the tradition started in 2018. The very first expression had whiskies from the unpeated from ex-bourbon, peated from ex-bourbon, and unpeated from Oloroso finished cask. So subsequently, we started releasing, 2019. Instead of Oloroso, I used PX. Then came Virgin Oak. Then 2020, I had used Portuguese wine casks, including Tawny, Vintage, and Madeira. 2022, this particular expression has whiskey that is unpeated from ex-bourbon, unpeated from the brandy finish, and peated finished in Oloroso cask.
Interesting.
So yeah, so the main intention is to create something special for Christmas. On the nose, if you see, it has got a lot of Christmassy feelings, especially Christmas cake.
For sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So that is the hallmark of
Just crack open my mini.
Christmas edition.
So I
So like
I
I've
have a
been
question.
sorry,
So
Sarah.
Yeah, please.
you're using a lot of
Yeah.
different blends. So I know that as a blender, or as a distiller, I say, there's a lot of science and a little bit of art that kind of goes into distillation. So
Yep.
what is your process for picking a blend, especially one that's an annual release, like a Christmas whiskey? Do you have a more methodical way of going about blending, or is it more of an artistic, intuitive sort of process? Can you describe it for me?
It's more of an art because when it comes to expressions, it's very difficult. So as I said, I have to prepare well in advance. because I already started working on 2023 Christmas edition. So you have to be at least a year in advance to see, what kind of whiskey you can, blend together, because
Mm-hmm.
already I've used most of the expressions that
Mm-hmm.
are available in the warehouse. So to keep the excitement going, it has to be different.
Mm-hmm.
Yet we'll have the similar characteristics. So yeah, I would say this is more of an art. Uh, so again, there are limitations because whatever is there in the warehouse, I have to use that. So yeah, it's more of an art, I would say.
So I will ask this part, Michael, if you don't mind. We were having this conversation yesterday. Excuse me about that. So we were talking about making blends, blends from different single malts together, and putting in one of single cask. Which one is
Of course,
harder for you?
blending is tougher because it's easier to identify the best whiskey in the warehouse. Because it's a matter of you tasting it and deciding which is which is best for the single cask. But blending is not easy. People think especially in India, they get too much innovative, or experiment is too much, wherein they start putting a lot of whiskeys together. They think it is better. Blending, I know you can produce good quality whiskey with two different expressions, but it's in your hand what kind of whiskey you choose, you select, because end of the day, what you need is the balance. You need the right balance. Yeah.
Yeah, end of the day, when we look at this way, like all of our core range whiskies are also from blends from different barrels. Yeah, it's just this time we are preparing our blend with
Because the end of
distinctive
the
barrels like
day,
PX brand.
for example, Christmas edition 2022, you have the elegancy from the ex-bourbon cask. You have the the mouthfeel and the fruitiness from the Oloroso, I mean the brandy cask, and the peated whiskey gives you the depth or the length in the whiskey. So that is more
Yeah.
important. So you have to have the right balance of everything.
Okay. Meanwhile, Alex from New York just joined our
Hi, Alex.
live stream, and he actually just posted Christmas edition 2022 as his favorite Christmas edition. So that's lovely. If he has any questions, we would love to answer it here. A girl tasting whiskey from Australia joined us. Thanks for joining us on the live stream too. And
By
it
the
has been
way,
a fantastic year for us on
today
these live
early morning, I
streams.
got a very great news from the UK because somebody called me from the UK to tell
Oh,
me that Christmas edition 2022 has won the Asian Whiskey of the Year in 2023 Whiskey Bible, but I have not seen the
really?
Bible, nor I got a official confirmation. But yeah.
All right, let's see what's gonna happen. It's not the first time we are doing that.
Congrats.
All right, Sarah, how was your year? How did it go? I know that you just focused on making more whiskey related content on your blog, and you want to explore more about
That was
this whiskey world. How
wonderful.
was your year? I
I really
would love
dived
to hear
into
that.
education on my content, and people have been really enjoying it. So it's nice because I like to teach and then they like to learn. So it's been really fulfilling for me. Um,
So, if you mind me ask, what was your favorite whiskey style to
um,
teach on?
I like all whiskey styles, but there are certain topics that I enjoy more than others. And the one that I've been really enjoying having conversations about is the topic of grain, specifically corn, specifically. And I've been heavily advocating everywhere I go for American single malts and different types of single malts, and how they like especially American single malt, because they're not just using standard commodity corn, are using a lot of local barley varieties. that are producing a ton of really interesting flavors, and it's bringing about a focus back onto the quality of the grain rather than just the process. And those are the kinds of conversations that I've been having with people. And one of the reasons why I like a lot of whiskeys, including yours, is because you guys focus on, say, 6-row barley versus 2-row barley, and you do unique things with that.
Just to bring an explanation to that, Michael, can you explain why we're using Indian 6-row barley instead of traditional 2-row barley from Europe?
Okay, in India, we grow two different types of grains. I mean, there is 2 and 6-row. The very reason we use 6-row is because the quality of 6-row is much better than 2-row. And also, some of the strains are very indigenous. It's developed here in India. There are many distilleries across India. Most of them, I would say 90% of the people, they buy their barley from up north. They say from the foothills of Himalayas, but our barley comes from a different place called Rajasthan. It's a desert. So, it gives the, unique flavor. It's more robust because we get more tannins out of this grain. As you know, the size of the grain is smaller compared to 2-row.
Inconsistent.
And also this makes the ratio of husk to grain, husk is larger because the size of the grain is smaller. So when you talk about husk, husk contains tannins. Tannins imparts a lot of flavors. It makes whiskey bolder. It makes whiskey sweeter over a period of time, because as you know, as tannin matures, even in case of wines, it becomes more sweeter. And this is one of the reasons we started using 6-row.
So I have a
Awesome.
my understanding of 6-row barley is that it has a higher protein count inside. Does that contribute to flavor at all? Or just yield?
Yes, partially I would say, because end of the day, it's about the process. It's all of us. It's more of a science, I would say. That the main creaminess that we get in our whiskey is from the fermentation process. The fermentation happens at a higher temperature, wherein we try to produce more esters. Esters imparts more fruitiness. And if you look at the design of the pot still, we have broader gooseneck. So we try to refine more of a, higher oils are, taken back into the pot, and only the lighter flavor goes inside the condenser. So
increase in the reflux, technically.
Interesting. So how much would you say, how would you say that protein affects the flavor? Just the creaminess, or would you say it contributes towards that lighter flavor?
The higher protein, there are pros and cons as well.
Yes.
Because since our whiskeys are non-chill filtered, there are higher chance of you getting sedimentation in the whiskey if it is not filtered properly. Because the 6-row contains higher amount of fatty acids or the protein.
So to me, that translates to a better mouthfeel.
Yes, it does, because again, the better mouthfeel you get from because of the very reason. For example, Goa is hot and humid. We lose more water and less alcohol. More alcohol and less water. This makes the flavor concentration higher. For example, if the alcohol goes higher in some of the places, especially, let us talk about Amrut. They are from down south where the weather is cooler and drier. They lose more water and less alcohol. So the alcohol from 65, it raises to 70% over a period of time. So, end of the day, in order to bottle, they have to dilute to bring the alcohol down. From 70 to 46, they need more water. in our case, in our case, we need less water because over a period of time from 65, it is dropping down to 59. So from 59 to 46, I need less water. This means I'm diluting the flavors lesser compared to Amrut.
Actually, it's almost significantly similar to what a few distilleries do in US, diluting first to get into the
Yeah,
barrel in
because
a
it
lower
goes
ABV.
higher.
So that's kind of,
Yeah,
so they use,
it
yeah,
goes
less
higher.
water. Yeah. And one question we just had from Cap Hill, if I'm not sure, yeah, Cap Hill August. How much is the angel share every year in Goa? We are talking about somewhere between 8 to 10% in a year. Could be a little bit
Yeah,
higher
volume,
in the first
yes.
year. Michael, right?
The volume wise, we lose 8 to 10% every year.
So angel share has a
Yeah.
lot of different factors, not just
Yeah.
external temperature and climate, but also like the wood quality and the volatility and the compounds inside as they're changing. Would you
Yeah.
say that how you barrel your whiskey impacts, like, do you do anything like barrel at a lower or higher temperature to try to control volatility in order to avoid a loss of angel share?
Again, as you said, we have different programs going on. Majority of the inventory, we have close to 25,000 casks now. Majority of the inventory is of ex-bourbon cask. For example, the older whiskeys, we have whiskeys close to 13 years now. So once it reaches certain age, then I do the revatting. So I empty the cask and refill the cask. This is in order to make sure the wood to liquid ratio, the higher, so that your rate of evaporation is less, and also whiskey does not get too woodier. If the barrel is half empty, so that means the wood ratio is much higher compared to the liquid. So this makes whiskey more woodier. So what I do is every 5 years I revat and fill the cask so that you keep the liquid healthy. So again, yeah. And when it comes to fills, the first fill is always on the lower tier because our warehouse is quite high. It is close to 15 meters in height. We have 13 tiers. So the first fill is always on the bottom. So as the fill increases, the barrel gets going higher and higher. So yeah.
Yeah, let's mention the fact that so we have different warehouse styles in Paul John. Michael, having been traveled all over the world for seeing what's happening in the distillery, he actually brought out the best of the both worlds. So we have an American warehouse style, which we are talking about right now, 13 racks high. I think they hold around 6 to 7,000 barrels at one
6,200
warehouse.
warehouse.
Yeah.
We have an underground cellar that contains close to 4.
Yeah. And the underground cellar is like a Danish style, Scottish style that we have been using in Scotland traditionally, which we can control the aging a little bit more. We can get our hands on to that a little bit more and let it be more mild. Maybe.
Again, within the distillery, we have 2 different climatic conditions. One is the underground cellar, where the temperature is cooler, less humid. So from the underground, I get more elegant, easy drinkable ones. From the other warehouses, we get more robust characters, the more bolder whiskeys. So you have 2 different kinds of whiskeys, from the same distillery, So this is very important for us because we don't have, as I said, we don't have age statement. We create expression. So
let's go and taste the Christmas edition, if you don't mind, guys, because we have been smelling that for a while. I know that Paul John is amazing. Like when it opens up, it gives a lot of different flavors. But that's actually what I want to ask Sarah. How have you been enjoying Paul John Christmas edition?
I really love it. One of the things that I immediately noted was the subtlety of the peat, which I really enjoy. It just adds a beautiful layer to it. And also, have you ever had those Vietnamese peppers? I can't remember the name of them, but they're not super spicy, but they just sort of warm and like
Hmm.
warm. That's a lot of what I'm getting in terms of a feeling when I drink this whiskey is the same feeling I get when I eat those peppers in like a dish. Definitely a lot of orange and like some dark chocolate. I'm getting a touch of fig. I think it's really, really Christmassy, and like you nailed it. If your intention for your blend, your ultimate goal was going for a Christmas flavor, like you definitely
Hmm.
nailed the product.
Yeah, because as I said, all these, dry fruits like dry figs, dried dates, you get from the Oloroso cask.
Hmm.
So, and also it adds more spiciness. You have nutmeg, kind of gingerish. So from brandy cask, you have your gingerbread.
Definitely.
Gingerbread flavors,
Did you say
definitely.
there was
Then
a Madeira finish in this, or
no,
okay,
no. So
got it.
That's
2021. Yeah.
2021, last year's one. So I actually am receiving some questions from the question spot. There are two of them. I will answer one of them. I will leave one to you, Michael. So Dairy Mangal 08 said that, like bourbon, as they should have 51% of corn, how much barley is mandatory at Paul John Whiskey? Because we are a single malt distillery, it is always going to be
Yeah, yeah.
100% malted barley.
So we use,
So when you have a
yeah,
single
it's
malt whiskey, it
always
has to be
100%
100%.
single grain. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And the second question to you, Michael, is coming from Igor from New York. Um, any interesting or pleasant accidents
Great
during the
question.
production at the distillery?
Not during the production, but maturation, yes. I mean, because we accidentally we had filled unpeated in a peated cask. Uh, and ultimately it came out good. So yeah, I mean, these mistakes keep happening, but yeah, we have to find a way to correct it.
Okay, another question for you, Michael. This is interesting, and this is a question I always get, not with Christmas edition, but with our Zodiac range. People are curious about the next Zodiac range, and I'm never telling them that I know because I have no idea when it's going to come out. I'm pretty sure you have no idea either, because we are getting everything as it goes on. But what was the idea behind the Zodiac range, and when can we
Oh,
expect the next one?
okay. One of the main reasons, so we started with a single cask, in 2012. Then slowly we started releasing different expressions. So, so for single, when I taste casks, you get different qualities. Some are a quality that is good enough to go into single cask. Some I use for various expressions. Uh, some rare ones were left out in the warehouse. That was too good to be bottled at a single cask, uh, because Paul John has uh, its own hallmark. Like other distilleries, certain flavors are synonymous across all the expressions, but some of the casks are different. It is unique. These casks were left out in the warehouse, untouched. So I had to find a way to create something out of this, because in India, older is not better, because if you leave the cask untouched, maybe after some years you may have to sell the empty cask, not you know because we lose substantial amount of alcohol towards angel share. So we had to find a way to create something. That is where we thought of releasing some Zodiac series, because Zodiac series contains whiskies above 7 to 8 years.
Wow.
That's fun. Sarah, we tasted the Kanya or
I've never had
Michunovic,
your
as far
cognac.
as I
Is that
remember.
what you asked?
They no, the Kanya,
I
the
have not
first
actually had
Zodiac
that.
series, but we didn't say we did.
Perfect.
I will make it happen for you, sure. Capel sent a comment. Please do make Paul John Oloroso at 50% ABV cask strength with age state. Yeah, we have a lot of requests for that. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll see
because
about it
Oloroso is
probably.
bottled at
And I'm
48% as of now. Yeah.
yeah. All right. As we are speaking, like Christmas is almost coming, guys. And I know that we're all celebrating it in different ways. What are you gonna do for Christmas? And one of the most important questions for this show for me is asking people about the wishes because this is all about appreciating the passing year and welcoming the new year with the Christmas. So, what are your wishes
Um,
for Christmas? Let's
well, I'm
start
going
with
to be in
Sarah.
Colorado with my family, and I already kind of got my Christmas wish this year because my mom was recovering from cancer, and she's totally
Oh,
healthy and happy and good. So I'm fine.
wonderful.
I'm happy. Yeah.
Wonderful.
That
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Well,
What about you, Michael?
I'm in Goa. Goa is the best place to celebrate Christmas, by the way. So, so you have beach, you have wonderful climatic conditions here. So I'm in Goa, and also the expansion work is on, so we are pretty much busy. Yeah. Mm.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna spend my Christmas at home after
Hmm.
150 days of
That
traveling this
sounds like a dream come
year.
true.
So
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah. Scott Burgov says that it's interesting to me that I only heard about this whiskey when I traveled to Prague. Not mentioned enough in US. Like US is a huge country, and I'm the only guy. But we are doing our best to get the word out there. Don't worry, brother. And let me know if you have any questions about the US part. We've been doing more and more every year in the USA. But that being said, Sarah, you tasted a lot of Paul John's.
You know,
What was your
I
favorite?
really
What's
like the
the
Brilliance, but also
Hmm.
I did a blind tasting at 7 grand this year, and they pulled the Brilliance out, and I was able to pull it like by the bottle. I was able to label, which really impressed everybody.
Wow.
But I think that's partly why I have an affection towards it because it made me look really cool in that moment. But there's a peanut note to it that is super unique that I don't get
Yeah.
on any other.
Yeah. 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 So especially when,
why do you think there's a peanut note
because
coming from that, Michael? Because this is not the
yeah,
first time I'm
this
hearing
is
this. Just
from
saying.
the ex-bourbon cask. Ex-bourbon cask. Especially the American oak imparts certain flavors. You know, it can be. It is not here. You get, depending on the age of the whiskey, the aroma changes. Sometimes, you get younger whiskeys, you get more of a peanut and hazelnut. And as it matures, it becomes more, more aromatic. It becomes coconut. So it is spicier. It is, again, our whiskeys are more citrusy in nature. The younger whiskeys will have more of a sweet lime and orange peel. As it gets older, it becomes like orange marmalade, orange zest, cook orange. Our whiskey is more honeyed in character on the nose. Younger whiskey is more of a elegant honey. As it matures, it becomes orange
Hmm.
blossom honey or
Mhm.
manuka honey kind of thing. Yeah, it's everything is from the American oak.
Perfect. Perfect. Like the descriptions you're giving us is incredible, and I'm pretty sure Sarah and I even learned a lot about whiskey during this
Yeah, I mean, by the way,
Instagram
how
live
did you get
stream.
into
Thank you very
whiskey,
much,
Sarah?
Michael.
Um, I used to be a tequila drinker, and
Uh-huh.
then one day I had too much. Couldn't even smell tequila, so I decided to start just having just sips of whiskey. And at the
Mm-hmm.
time, not a lot of women drank whiskey and ordered it neat at the bar, so the bartenders would chat with me about whiskey, and then I ended up joining some clubs, and I was really good with social media, so they started asking me to run their social media in exchange for events, and I like to learn. So
Mm-hmm.
I became a social media manager for several clubs, and then decided to launch my own Instagram a couple years ago.
Wow,
Hmm.
wonderful.
Yeah, so I really love to learn, and whiskey is one of those unique topics that's endless. You can explore
Yeah.
all kinds of different avenues of it. It's never ending. So
Yeah. Nothing is definite in whiskey. All the whiskeys are different.
exactly.
So, yeah.
Michael,
please,
can I ask
yeah.
you a similar question?
Wow.
How did you get into whiskey?
For me, it's I mean, yeah, I loved alcohol. Alcohol always fascinated me. I had passion for whiskeys. This is how I got into whiskeys, because this is my 30th year in this industry. I started very young. So yeah, and from the beginning, I wanted to get into distillation. Um, Initial years, I did not have the opportunity to get into distillation. I had to, start working under different blenders. In India, we produce a lot of blended whiskeys.
Hmm.
So that is how I started my career. Briefly, I got into winemaking as well.
Yeah.
So the art of fermentation, actually, I learned from winemaking.
I've heard
So
that a lot. Brewers, there's a lot of brewing history in the United States, and those brewers are now producing American single malts,
mhm.
and it's also kind of changing that field. So the fact that you came from wine and applied it to whiskey is probably one of the reasons why Paul John has that unique and special flavoring.
Yeah. So otherwise, unless and until you understand the yeast properly, it's very difficult because uh,
Francis?
once you start experimenting too much, you tend to screw up things.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Not
So because people talk about lot about yeast strains, etc. Because for me, it doesn't matter. What you need is clean fermentation. And also temperature plays a huge role.
Yeah, that's also a big concern for you
Yeah,
since
yeah.
you're in India, probably, especially temperature part. Yeah, like we were just I was at a distillery today in the morning in San Francisco, and we were thinking about, making distillations in winter is a good advantage, like if you're in Scotland, like, colder degree temperature. But
Hmm.
then in San Francisco, it doesn't matter because it's mostly uniform throughout the year. Then we spoke about India and how hard it is to distill or ferment alcoholic beverages due to the temperature and humidity out there.
do
Because
you
you have
guys
to be
do
really
a
careful, and
3-day
this is a
fermentation?
really nice comment about that.
Uh, uh, Close to 70 hours, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered doing an experiment where you just let the fermentation go, get a full bacterial secondary rum style ester mess, and then
Okay.
distill
What
it?
happens is, the primary fermentation, it takes 60 hours to complete.
Hmm.
So once the primary fermentation is over, I allow the wash to rest for a couple of more hours, 10 to 15 hours. At this is basically to allow the wash to get infected, So the bacteria from the atmosphere is absorbed by the alcohol, and the bacteria will start reacting with the wash. It makes the wash more complex.
Hmm.
It's kind of secondary fermentation, as you mentioned.
Okay.
So, yeah, yeah. So yeah, it's different whiskey makers, do it differently. Again, as I said, I have experience of making wine, so yeah.
Okay. Clean fermentation. Can I ask you about your peat? Where do
Peat,
you get it from? Or
yeah, I mean, we don't have peat in India, by the way.
that was going to be my
We
first
import
question.
we we import our peat from Scotland.
Do you
When we started in 2009, we were, sourcing our peat from Islay alone. Um, uh, then, because of the shortage, we had to look for somewhere else. I mean, we started getting our peat from Highland, that is on the northeast part of Scotland, from Aberdeen. Today, majority of the peat is coming from Aberdeen. Uh,
have you found that
and
that changes any of the flavors of your peat?
Yeah, definitely,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, the initial days are expressions, I mean, I used to use Isla peat for cold. Mm, for me, I think it is too intense. So, Aberdeen peat is more mellower,
Hmm.
more
It's got more
saltier on the
heather,
nose. Yeah.
right? Less sphagnum moss and more heather.
Yes.
Yeah, and honestly, like if you look at your favorite whiskey, Brilliance, then we have the same, like in the
Mhm.
same range, we have Edited and Bold, which is an actually wonderful way to teach how peat can impact your whiskey because the Edited has more mildly peat and it's more, peat amount is more with, from the Highlands. So it gives you sweeter, mild tones. And when you go to Bold, which, as Michael told you, is mostly Isla, so that will give you a rough and harsher conditions. So that's a really nice to show how peat progression can impact your whiskey with the same ABV, same age, same warehouse, and same
Hmm.
everything is the
Yeah.
same. Just peat is the
So
difference.
I love peat is too intense, and also I didn't want to produce another I love whiskey in India. So
Right.
yeah. So so
Yeah.
yeah.
All right, guys. Yep. One question. This is incredible. How would you compare Paul John whiskey to Macallan? One question.
I mean, is it for me or Sarah?
Well, I
Maybe Sarah.
Any
think
of
there's a
you?
huge
Sarah,
It's
yes.
probably
yeah.
we,
Uh,
we can all
Right
answer
off the
that question
bat, the
apparently.
first thing I think of is just the process being so incredibly different, not to mention the base being different. Macallan is sort of defined by that sherry covering up a lot
mhm.
of those base flavors, and I feel like Paul John has more of a layering effect where you have that quality grain building a really quality product, and then you're layering on different finishes to it. So right off the bat, I would say when you drink a Macallan, you're getting a ton of sherry influence. When you're drinking a Paul John, I would say it's a little more complex.
Yeah, I mean, since we all know
What
about
do you think?
whiskey, we understand, we have two different climatic conditions,
Mhm.
in which the entire process is carried out is different. So basically, nothing is similar here,
Right.
and also uh, Macallan. I mean, it's aged for 12 plus years, wherein so the when the weather is cooler, your whiskey tend to get more elegant automatically. So I always tell people in India, the whiskey meets the uh, the outside world on the surface of the cask here, you know. Uh, but when it comes to Scotland or cooler country, the whiskey meets the outside world, the environment inside the cask, because it's whiskey when it is cooler, it is it contracts. It's
Mhm.
so here whiskey is always keep expanding in on the surface of the cask. Yes.
I will put it this way. In my honest opinion, when like comparing Macallan and Paul John is something that is not easy. But I will put it this way: Macallan created history for Scotch whiskey, and Paul John is creating another history line on the Asian whiskey side of the world. They're two different styles, even though we are in single malt, we have the production on the paper in the same way, like double distilled oak barrels for at least 3 years. Everything is made with malted barley. But I think there are two different lines of making history in the world, in the whiskey world. So that's how I approach the things. And one last question just came, and then we will wrap up the things. Which is the current hottest selling product for Paul John, Mituna or
uh,
Christmas edition?
okay, I mean,
Well, I can tell you about US, but
is
I'm leaving it to Michael.
Christmas edition people, I mean, now people started looking forward to the new releases, because everybody knows that during Christmas we have a small batch coming in. So obviously during the Christmas season, you sell a lot of Christmas editions. It's just 7,000 bottles, but rest of the expressions are available throughout the year. So yeah.
Yeah. I will put it in this way. In US, we just
Mhm.
have the bottles in the market now. And honestly, it's only 2,000 bottles in the US. So this is a very limited edition. Mituna is also limited, but it's a different style too, plus different affordability levels. Like Mituna is around $300 a bottle. Meanwhile, Christmas edition is $85 a bottle. So this changes things a lot for us. And that's the beauty of Paul John whiskey. You can find our limited editions from a really affordable level to a little bit higher. And if you look at our range, which is 10 bottles or 11 bottles right now in the USA, you can find bottles from $30 to $300. And it's a wonderful transition between there. That's why there's a bottle for everyone in Paul John whiskey. And that's exactly why I asked Sarah her favorite whiskey, and she came up with the answer of Brilliance, which is technically a $55, $60 whiskey in our range. She didn't come up with the most expensive one.
Not always the
Happy
most
about that.
expensive. It's always personal preference, right?
Well, all right, folks. Let's wrap it up. Thank you, Sarah, for joining us.
Pleasure,
Thank you, Michael,
Koray.
for being here with us. And I'll see you in 12 hours in the morning show.
I'm doing 12
I'll
hours.
wake up at
today.
7 a.m. for that. Oh, yeah. They're like, I'm doing 24-hour days. Sarah, it's been fantastic to have you. Please keep up the good work. You've been fantastic. You've been putting a good name out of the whiskey world there as a female, as a woman. You've been doing a fantastic job. And I, like,
Thank
personally,
you.
at a friend level, I'm so proud of you. And as a professional level, you've been doing so good. That's why you're here with us. And I hope you enjoyed the Christmas edition 2022. And you got some of your questions answered by Michael himself, the man behind the whiskey. And Michael,
Thank you, Sarah.
yeah.
Thank you for joining in.
If you have any more questions, Sarah, please go.
It was a pleasure to meet you. Next time, I look forward to see you in Goa.
Yes, absolutely. I'll be there. Ask you all my questions in person.
Always.
Oh my God. I should make that happen. I will do that.
By the way, I'm planning to come to the US
Michael,
in few months.
please let me know so I'm aware of that, okay?
You'll be the next person to know.
Just to make sure I'm here. And Michael, by the way, literally thank you, because we all know that you're so busy, and it has been so much fun to see you online with us during COVID and after COVID, especially in this Christmas sessions, because now we are doing this together. I'm so proud of you having in the same live stream with me. We're so lucky to have you making one of the best whiskeys in
My
the
job.
world. Thank you very much
Pleasure.
for that. Yeah.
Thanks, Sarah. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Have a wonderful
And,
evening, morning,
Sarah,
wherever the world
wish
you are.
you Merry Christmas in advance.
You too.
Yeah, because I'll be seeing Koray again.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas, everyone. Tomorrow, we will be online with Michael again at 7 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 3 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time, because we'll be having another guest from London, and happens to be also Turkish. So Michael is going to be stuck between two Turkish guys trying to speak English.
Yeah.
Boris
by the way, I
Merjan will
met
be
him,
with us, and we'll be
during my UK
broadcasting.
visit. Yeah.
Yeah, he's brilliant. He's brilliant. We'll talk more tomorrow about that. Thank you very much, guys.